When you're looking for a furnace base, you want it to be simple, cheap, and effective. Last video, I made a double furnace base with minimal BPs. This furnace base will cost a lot less, but it will require your external stone wall BP. Now, what would the cost be looking like? Well, for the updated version, without deployables, the build cost would be looking like 9.6k stone, 2.6k wood, and 2.2k metal fragments. If you look at the fully built, tons of deployables all put in, maxed out build, you're going to be looking at 12k stone, 6.2k wood, 2.4k metal frags. Now, what deployables do you get for your money? Well, you get a whole square loot room. You can build it as you want. It does have the TC in it, and I will provide a basically model loot room that I use. Second, you'll get 4 sleeping bags. You'll get a level 1 workbench that you can use to repair your jackhammers, and you'll get up to 9 small furnaces and 2 large furnaces. In addition, you will need to supply 12 floor grills so that, of course, you can protect your furnaces. 2 garage doors and 2 regular doors will also be needed with accompanying code locks. Now, if you want visibility, you can also pick up 2 reinforced glass windows. However, they are not required, but it is good for, of course, not losing your loot. So, let me give you the tour. So when you come in, you have your just standard airlock, just 2 double doors. You got a sleeping bag in the airlock and then 3 sleeping bags in the actual base. Right, you have your workbench to your right as well as a furnace, and then to your left you'll have your TC as well as a regular loot room. Now I'll teach you how to build this, don't worry about that. Whenever you come into here, you will have your 2 large furnaces as well as, of course, a small furnace here and here, and a small furnace at each of the corners as well as 2 in here. Now, if you build this right, you got to pay attention to your foundation height. People squeezing here really shouldn't be a problem, as well as, let's say, if you have your gaps managed, soft siding really shouldn't be a problem either. Now, with stability, right, you may be thinking, oh, this isn't a very stable base, right? There's only these 2 kind of supporting structures 2 squares away from this actual central structure. Now, if I actually destroy one of these walls, you'll see that the grills actually stand up. So it's really not, the stability is not an issue. To start off, you want to place down your 2 square foundations. These will need to be stone. This will be the final building material. However, the foundations I'm about to build, you should build them twig. I will let you know when to upgrade them. So you want to go 1 out, and 1, 2, 3 this way. Place 7 triangle foundations like this. You can delete the square foundation buildup. Now what you want to do is you want to delete this outermost triangle, place a square, then place a triangle in here. Now this foundation you can build. This will be a permanent foundation, so you can upgrade that to build. Now don't delete all of this. What you want to do over here is you want to delete this last foundation over here, place a square, place a triangle, and then this will be permanent. Now, I like to build everything before I place down the large furnaces, because sometimes whenever you place them down, you actually can't build above them because they may be a little bit too forward, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. It's just better to wait. So then we want to extend to make our airlock. Put your door frames, ceiling, everything. Alright, so right now you can place your TC. Now the TC will need to go to the right hand side of the wall. Then you can come outside. With the square foundation, you can have a build up that will basically allow you to place a triangle inside. Alright. So this loot room shouldn't be too hard to make. However, I will go slower. Now I like to upgrade the frame to metal to make boxes easier to place. Now, the first thing you want to do is basically press your chest against the back. You can line it up with the line on the ground is to the left of the TC. You should be able to see it right there. You just want to be parallel to that. Second, what you want to do is you want to rotate it and push yourself against the leftmost wall. Now what you want to do is you basically want to line up the edge of the box with the stone wall, and you want to place it. Now what you want to do is take out your barbecue. You want to push yourself to the right, not past the when you can place it or when it's blue, but you want to get the barbecue to the right as much as you can. Now also make sure that the kind of part that is sticking up is not on your right, but is to the left where there's open space. Alright, then you can place a small box. Try to place it against the wall as flush as you can. That will make it easier to place these two boxes. Alright, now you got the hard part done. You just want to come up here. Then just like the first box, you just want to place your box up here. Parallel to, there would be a line under there, parallel to that line. And then over here, this really doesn't need to be perfect. You can just place it as close as you can to this box. Now sometimes I like to place a triangle. This can be twig, don't upgrade it to stone, to place the last box, but if you can get it, you can get it. Cool. Now that is your loot room finished. Alright, so I would like to place down, and usually you would have this garage door closed, of course, not to get killed. It's just open because it will allow mobility. Now you can place down your workbench, your furnace, and your sleeping bags. Now, what we're going to need to do is take your building plan, build 2 stone walls up. You can make them metal, but if you place the externals right, then you should be okay in terms of soft siding. So I wouldn't worry about it until, let's say, you fuck up, and you need to do that. Alright, so after you place your walls, what you're going to do is you're going to either get up here with a ladder or half walls, and you're going to place your stone floor frames. Now stability should hold, so you should have no problem, and you shouldn't have to maneuver around. Now, after you place your floor grills, this basically will allow you to walk around on top. You can place full walls on top. And of course, this last one should be a half wall so that you can jump out. And then you can put your next layer of stone floor frames. Alright. Now, last step before you place down your furnaces, what you want to do is you want to take your stone walls and you want to try and place them flush with the actual build. So now it is time to place your furnaces. The first furnace, you should try to push up against the building as much as you can. The second furnace, you can leave a little bit of space, and actually I advise you do, so that it makes the furnace placement easier, the small furnace placement easier later on. So that should be good. And then you can just close this off with a high external. Now a lot of the times it does look like there's not enough space, or that placing this external will leave kind of a gap, but I will address this problem in a second here. It still cannot be soft-sided, so you should be good, and if it is, of course, you can just upgrade this to metal. Now, let's come in here. Now, the last part of this build basically is placing down your extra furnaces. Now, the reason why we want to eliminate these gaps is because people can basically grub your furnaces if you are not careful. Now, what I like to do is I like to place the furnaces as far away from the actual gap as possible. The middle furnaces aren't really that big of a deal in terms of that because there's like not really any gap. But the outer furnaces do carry that problem with them. Also, in addition, yeah, try not to get stuck whenever you're placing those outer furnaces. Alright, cool. Let's go over here. See, like, this is a very good placement, right? Because it's going to be extremely hard to actually access this furnace because there's so much space. All right, then we will finish it off. Oh, looks like I have room to place 3, and I should be able to place a campfire down there. All right, cool. So let's say that people can access this, right? They can access it through the gap, right? Can't really do anything about it, right? You've tried placement, the first option. All right. Well, your second option, you can place a stone door frame, right? So that will basically, 1, it'll block the gap a little bit, and 2, it'll basically prevent them from going in as close. Now, in this case, it worked. But sometimes, let's say if the furnace is right up against here, and placing a wall frame doesn't stop me from actually accessing the furnace, you'll have to do something more. You can place, let's say, deployables like rugs or anything that will get in the way. You could place even like a stone barricade sometimes, but that would be your second option. Now, if that doesn't work, there's a nuclear option that you can use. I do not recommend it if you can avoid it, but it does work most of the time. You can basically upgrade this wall and create the corner piece. You can have that hide the gap. Now, this is a last-ditch effort because you see it does increase the cost of the build.